is Melvin Campbell Jr., your candidate for U.S. Congress, PA District 5 seat Democrat. So my campaign is for you. It's for the people. And it's time that people's voices are heard. And they're not. Our Congresswoman doesn't care about us. She's all about partying herself. That's clear as day. She's had her opportunity and she's failed. She's not a leader, she's a hack. And she will be a has been after this election. And let's get down to talking more about what's happening in District 5, and particularly Delco. We hear that there's a few of our volunteer fire companies about to merge, and that's because of the lack of volunteerism. And that's something that's a society issue. I've noticed for many years. As someone who has volunteered for many years as a youth basketball coach, whose father has spent my whole life and my older brother's whole life as a volunteer, I see that there is more than ever a lack of people willing to volunteer their time to help out their community. And we need more volunteers. And the fire companies need it more than ever. We need volunteer firemen for multiple different reasons. The tax burden of not having volunteer firefighters will be huge on the people, and not in a good way. They'll have to raise taxes because they'll have to pay for firemen instead of having volunteers. And what do we do to create incentives to have volunteer firemen, to increase the volunteer firemen, so that we don't have to merge companies? That maybe we create tax incentives. I'll work with the state and local governments to come up with ways, tax incentives, or free education to counter the lack of retention in our volunteer fire companies, to increase the enrollment in our volunteer fire companies, because we need them. We need them very much. They save lives for us. Maybe they saved your life, but they are a huge part of a lot of our communities, and they're going away. We can't let that happen. So we have to do what it takes, either cutting taxes for the volunteer firemen, to gain volunteer firemen, free education, educate our community on volunteerism. These are things that I will work with our local and state governments to implement so that we have the retention needed to keep our volunteer fire companies open, to increase our volunteer fire companies, and not only that, to increase our volunteerism in our own communities. Because our communities are very important. And the less and less we act like a community, the more we become divided. And we can't be divided. No more. No more. So if you agree with me, like, share, and go to melvincampbell.com. You can donate. We need boots on the ground. So if you could volunteer or help in any way, that's much appreciated. If you have any questions, go to melvincampbell.com, submit your questions. I'll answer. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.